At your last press conference, you spoke a good deal about the important thing is to help the university regain trust and move forward. Do you think reinstating President Sullivan might be the best way to regain that trust?
Why did I think somebody might ask that question? I think that right now it is very, very important. We're at a very delicate point in this whole conversation. And, once again, I don't want to compromise my position. And there are so many forces at work, both, obvious ones and probably less obvious ones. And what I would say to you is that I have great respect for President Sullivan. If President Sullivan is reinstated, I will be extraordinarily happy to work with her. I will be very happy to represent the McIntyre School in what I know will be probably a very, very interesting fall semester as we try to reestablish trust and make sure that everybody is moving forward. And I think right now the best thing for me to do is to allow the board to make a decision. And but as I say, if President Sullivan is reinstated, I know that that will be greeted by many people with, I think, great pleasure, and I'll have great pleasure coming back to the McIntyre School.
Sandy Hausman from Virginia Public Radio. People have portrayed this as a kind of a culture clash, that is the MBAs versus the PhDs, a case of business people applying their values to a whole different culture. I'm wondering if you see it that way. And I'm also wondering whether the dire predictions made by the rector ring in any way true to you. Do you think this university is really in a bad way, either academically or from a financial standpoint? Are we in an emergency situation?
I think that all higher education, I would not call it an emergency situation. I wouldn't probably go that far, except in the sense that I do think that, I said this the other day as well, I do think higher education is facing extraordinary circumstances at the moment. There are certainly many, many forces at work right now, from the financial issues to all the things, technology, all the things that we talked about the other day, and we've got to deal with these. We've got to face up to them and figure out what's right for the University of Virginia. How are we going to deal with the many issues that the rector outlined in her statement last night, I guess that was, and it's an extraordinary, challenging time, but the University of Virginia is the University of Virginia. It's a great place. We got great faculty. We've got terrific students. We've got great staff members. We have alumni that love this place. And I'd like to go back to something that I said the other day. If anybody doubts the passion and love for this university, they ought to be in my shoes right now. Trust me. Okay? It's extraordinary. And so I think that I don't view this necessarily as an emergency situation, but I think we got a lot of hard work to do. And I think we've got to confront the issues. I think we got to confront them in a smart way, but I think we got to confront them quickly. We've got to do appropriate analysis. We've got to include the right groups of people in the conversation and figure out what it is that we need to do across the board and move forward. If President Sullivan comes back, I know that I will be enthusiastic in joining that effort. I know that the other deans will certainly be enthusiastic in that effort. I know the faculty senate will be enthusiastic. I've talked to so many people recently that they'll all be involved in that effort. Obviously the provost and the other vice presidents as well. So I think there are, tremendous challenges, but I don't think that it's unique to the University of Virginia. I think all higher education is facing this, and I think that no matter what happens out of this, the one thing that I hope happens is that we leverage this incredible passion to attack those problems, whatever outcome takes place. We leverage that passion and we go after those things in a big way.
But just to follow up, the terms that have been used are incremental change versus strategic dynamism. I mean, the question is, are either of those terms useful as you look at the problems the university faces?
You know, I'm not going to get trapped into a strategic dynamism versus incrementalism kind of conversation. I'm a strategy professor, and we actually talk about those things a lot. And you know, not to launch off in a lecture on that, but they're both appropriate at certain times. Sometimes you have to rethink the entire way in which an organization competes or performs. The overall strategy that's being used by the organization, and it requires more radical change. And at other times, and in other parts of the organization, incrementalism is an important approach as well. And I think that with some of these issues, I think we will probably once again get a lot of people involved. Decide what direction we're going to go, and we'll probably do some things that are more dynamic and more strategic, if you will, at a higher level. And other things we'll probably decide, you know, we're more or less doing the right things. We need to tweak them, and we probably need to be more incremental. Okay. Did I break it? So you know, I don't. You know, trying to force people into two camps, I don't like that either. Okay, they're you know, this MBA versus PhD. Okay, I've got an MBA, and I don't have a PhD. It's a DBA, but it's the same basic thing. Okay, and you know, I think that we need all of it right now. You know, one thing I'd like to say, I meant to say this in my opening remarks, but the meeting that I had with the Council of Chairs for the college yesterday was a terrific meeting, and it was a very collaborative, constructive meeting. The leadership of the council started the meeting by talking about the importance of collegiality, the importance of working together to think through these issues, and they actually were the ones that helped me craft the idea that maybe it would be a good idea to sort of step back. And I just wanted to really acknowledge my colleagues in the college for doing that. I thought that was an extraordinarily useful conversation in my thinking. I tweaked it a little bit. I thought about it. I talked to John Simon. I talked to Carol Wood. We worked through it. And over the course of several hours, I think we came up with something that was the right thing, at least in my situation, was the right thing for me to do. And I just wanted to acknowledge my colleagues in the college for helping me to do that.
Dean? Jessica Jacobus from the Newsplex. Sorry. Well, what have your conversations been like with the Board of Visitors, and how did they react when you told them that you were going to step back as interim president?
I had a couple of conversations with the rector last night, and she understood my reasons for doing it. We talked about the fact that if I, and this was part of my conversation with the council yesterday too, as well as clearly with the Faculty Senate Executive Committee, if I attempted to, in a sense, you know, rebuild trust when we're going through this controversy, if I attempted to do the things that I talked about the other day in terms of moving the university forward, it was premature. And once again, I kind of have a bias for action, and sometimes I have to curb that. And I think that that I don't want to do this job unless I'm bringing my colleagues across the university along with me, and or they're bringing me along with them. So I think that if I'm going to do this job, I've got to have legitimacy with all the constituent groups, because this job is, if I have to do it, it's going to be really, really hard, and I know that. And so I want to make sure that, to the extent that I possibly can, I want this to play out. I want this dialogue and conversation to go and hopefully reach an appropriate conclusion, and then once again, I'll see where I am.
Henry?
Have you, since the news broke from the Board of Visitors yesterday, have you talked to Dr. Sullivan yet? Or any communications with her about all this?
No, I haven't. I actually, full disclosure, I tried to give her a call last night and didn't get through. The one thing that I did, I left her a message and thanked her for her message yesterday, asking for everybody to, engage in civil discourse around this. And I think that was obviously very appropriate. I appreciated what she said about me and my family. And I think that was very consistent with really what I'm trying to do here. I want civil discourse over the next 4 days, and then hopefully the board goes through a process that's appropriate and renders a decision that perhaps we can all live with.
Sir, you mentioned discussing things with the council of chairs. What exactly prompted you to make this decision? Was there an event in the last couple of days that made you say, I have to do this? And if not, why'd you do it?
It's it's pretty simple. I mean, it's exactly what I said in the email. I talk to a lot of people. I mean, that's again what you need to do in these situations.